to the history of coffee. How coffee came to India.
So there was a Sufi saint, and he smuggled 7 coffee beans from Yemen, and he planted in Chikmagalur, and that's how coffee got cultivated in India. But then today you see the coffee culture in India, I think we are doing really great. All pure coffee from the estates, Chikmagalur, Coorg, Sakleshpura, even Northeast. So today, proudly we can say that, India is the 6th largest coffee producer and 5th largest coffee exporter.
We all love coffee, we all drink coffee, but there are very few rare people who live coffee. We have an amazing guest today with us. So welcome Puja. And I really want to understand what does living coffee means.
Thank you, Nakul. I really feel wow to be here because there are only very few platforms who believes in sharing the real stories. So as I always tell people that I'm here to be real and not to be perfect. So thank you for having me here. So what it's like living coffee? I think I breathe coffee. Right from brewing the fresh cup of coffee in the morning to writing about coffee, to visiting cafes, to meeting entrepreneurs, to estate visits. So everything, my entire life, my entire routine is scheduled around coffee. So in and out, it's all about coffee.
Oh, that's like I never sees coffee from this perspective because we always sees that India is a chai nation. So let's start from the beginning, like how all this thing started and how was your childhood, and is there, as you belongs to Jain family, we all sees that Jain families are more into business entrepreneurs. So what was your, and that entrepreneurial instinct was there from the beginning, or it started after some incidents, or how it's all started?
Yes, I come from a Jain community and a Marwari family. So business is in our DNA. I have been exposed to business from the early days. I've seen my parents into business, my brothers into business. So yes, I have seen businesses rising, businesses failing. But I really did I want to be an entrepreneur? Maybe not in the early days, but as I grew up, I realized that I want to be an entrepreneur sooner or later. I did not start my career with the business or startup. I joined a corporate and almost around a decade of experience as a copywriter and into branding and marketing. I quit my job one day and I felt it's the right time for me to get into my entrepreneurial journey. So yes, the DNA was there.
See, like growing up in India, as I said, that we are a tea loving nation. Okay, so how did you ever imagine being in India in a state, tea country, and then today you are representing Indian coffee at the global stage? So what was it like? How was this transition took place, and what was that sparking moment in your life when you decided that coffee is your calling?
Coffee drinking was just a ritual for me initially. It was a medium to connect with people, initiate conversation, maybe a few coffee dates or board meetings. That's how coffee was in my life. I was passionate about coffee. No, it wasn't decided. It wasn't pre-decided that I want to make it as a career or want to get into it. There's a story behind this. I was solo traveling to Rajasthan. I think it was Jodhpur, and it was a 10 days trip. I carry my coffee wherever I go. It was very disappointing that somebody took my coffee and the coffee was missing. So I had almost 10 days to survive. I wandered here and there, went to a few places to get my cup of coffee, but it was always like Nescafe or brew. So whenever you asked bhaiya coffee, they would say, ma'am, Nescafe or brew. People weren't aware about mocha pot or ground coffee, filter coffee. They have not heard absolutely about Arabica or Robusta. And then I was thinking there could be so many souls like me who just cannot afford missing their coffee. Coffee has a very emotional role to play in life. For people like us who are an addict to coffee, we just need coffee. So I'm addicted to coffee. I need coffee at 5:30 p.m. and it's almost 20 years. This is the pattern. So maybe you can say it's psychological. That gave me an idea that I should do something in this industry. But I wasn't very sure, how to begin with. I quit my job and, the rest followed. So yeah, the journey started from a backpack and a solo travel. And today it's almost 4 years I'm in the coffee industry, doing something good.
So if we go back to the history of coffee, how coffee came to India.
Okay.
We have heard so many different stories. So, what, according to you, is the right story and the thing?
So there was a Sufi saint, and he smuggled 7 coffee beans from Yemen, and he planted in Chikmagalur, and that's how coffee got cultivated in India. Yeah, it was illegal, but then today you see the coffee culture in India. I think we are doing really great.
And I want to know the story behind the name Curly Brew. Why you named it?
Okay.
Is it because of your hairs?
No, it's not because of my hair. I every time I think people ask me this question, or people assume that curly brew is because of the curly hair, but no. So curly brew is basically about the vapors or the steams that comes out of the freshly brewed cup of coffee. So that's, I don't know if you have observed or not, but when you are when you get a cup of coffee, freshly brewed cup of coffee, hot piping coffee, you see those steams coming out, and those are the curls that I'm referring to in curly brew.
You got this idea from after seeing your hairs?
No,
What we
no, no.
see.
I think it just happened over a cup of coffee. But I did not get the idea from my hair, but I did get the fame from my hair. So today, it's Curly Brew is a very unique name, and people, associate it with my hair. So I'm okay with it. It's a good feeling.
You have spent like quite long time in your professional journey when it
Yeah.
comes to branding, storytelling, and now you are coffee enthusiast. So what do you think, like how you blend these two?
Yes. So I've done my MBA, and I have around 10 years of corporate experience. So I was a copywriter, and as I told you that I always wanted to do something on my own. So this is my second startup. In 2013, I had one more startup which lasted for almost like 3 years, and then we did not pursue it further. So this is my second startup. I don't own a estate. I don't have a cafe. I am not a barista. I'm not a coffee taster or a Q grader. But then I love coffee, and I felt that I need to do something in the coffee industry to educate people about the best Indian coffees. So I was just thinking, how do I club these two, and wherein I follow my passion and use my experience. So you just can't let go your experience to just fall out. So I clubbed these two, but let me tell you that it was difficult. Unlike branding for other industries, this was not an easy job, because you need to know about coffee. It is just not about a cup of coffee. What goes behind that cup of coffee? When you want to become a thought leader in the industry, and when you want to contribute on the table, you need to know about coffee. Let's say I'm writing about coffee, or hosting a podcast, or talking about coffee. I need to know about coffee. So initially it was difficult. But then I did a few certification course. I met the farmers personally, also visited estates, understood the coffee growing process, met the baristas, understood how coffees are classified, the export process, how a cafe is run, and in and out about coffee. Having said that, I have to narrate about coffee. I have to tell stories to people about coffee. So definitely I have to be on the field. I cannot be behind the scene. So I traveled almost life in a suitcase with coffee in hand. And yes, also I realized that there weren't any company doing an exclusive coffee branding or marketing. We have good coffees in India, but who is promoting it? As a coffee lover, let's say I want to understand different things about coffee, maybe cold brew or a mocha pot or a French press, or maybe Ethiopian coffee, Colombian coffee, different equipment. So how do I get an access to it? So Curly Brew is the first digital platform to talk about coffee, an exclusive coffee branding platform.
It's like you are creating an experience.
Yes, an experience about coffee. We also welcome people who are just coffee lovers. So I've been very clear that at Curly Brew, it isn't only people who know about coffee or specialty coffee. So there's this term called specialty coffee in the industry. Wherever you go, you only hear about specialty coffee, not much about commercial coffee or instant coffee like Nescafe or brew. But we welcome everyone. For us, coffee lovers are someone who wants to understand their coffee better, who don't want to break their head too much technical about coffee. They just want to enjoy their coffee, and we are here to welcome them and make them just brief them about what coffee is all about.
I'll come back to the varieties of coffee, but before that, because as you mentioned, this project, this startup is your passion. What even I am seeing throughout in my journey now, when you are doing something with passion, so you are completely dedicated towards that process and for everything, like you 24 hours blood and sweat you are giving to them. But to make something larger or take it to like to larger audiences, it takes a team. So how is your experience and what are the challenges you are facing to curate this, and your team members, your dedication is on one level towards the complete project. How is like you are making your team motivated to come to your level? Is it going in a right direction or you are facing some challenges?
This challenge, all the entrepreneurs, we face. Team is a challenge. Handling a team is a challenge. But I wouldn't agree that just because I'm passionate towards my startup, I would expect my team to be as passionate as I am. It's a job for them. That's it. For me, it could be a passion. For me, it's not a 9 to 5. I want to work 24 by 7 and do something amazing every now and then. But can I expect the same from my team? Well, no. And even if I expect, it will not reach up to that level. So I do have a team. We are around 7 to 10 members who's helping me. But I take my own calls there. I need to train them. I need to guide them. And the most challenging part is being patient. When things don't work out, you just can't afford to yell at your team. So you feel like doing that. And ours is a public platform. Curly Brew is on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. We are a part of online events. We can't afford to make mistakes just like that. So you need to cross-check. You need to keep your team motivated. That is just not coffee. It's somebody's dream. Let's all contribute. I think, that's what constantly talking with the team, explaining them that, I have a vision. It is just not that I love sipping coffee every now and then. No, I'm here for a purpose. I'm here to stay. And I need your support to reach where I want to reach. So I've been lucky in that ways. I've been lucky. Having said that, I also have industry support. As I told you that I don't come from this industry. So setting my foot in the coffee industry was challenging. You definitely need support from the industry experts. So people have been kind to me. I have been hand-holded at times. We take pride today that we have done amazing work in the last 4 years. Just not India, but other countries and other states.
With all those up and downs and challenges and the passion, you are today what you are. So it's like you made an history to become the first Indian to win a global coffee journalism award. How did it feel to represent not just yourself, but an entire country or community of storytellers?
That was a surreal moment. I would say people say nothing is permanent, but I feel this award is permanent. I earned it. When you start things without any expectations and things fall on the way, probably that's a universe answer to, give you the credit for the work you have done. I always felt that you need to excel in maybe sports or research or be a top-notch scientist or something wow to receive that title. But today, I'm surprised to say that a single cup of coffee has given me this title to be the first Indian woman. So, yes, it is just not an award. It is an answer to my hard work, to prayers, to people who have supported me. And also, it is not about success, that you say, okay, I got an award and I'm successful. No, I think it's an answer that I didn't fail. All of us have that fear of failure. So this recognition is an answer or a tribute to my hard work that nothing is impossible. And tomorrow, if I do any other startup, I will not have my fear of failure. So more than success, I say it has taken away that fear of failure and have given me confidence to do more in life.
It's there in every industry, but how do you see the gender and cultural dynamics plays in the coffee industry? Like how difficult or what was your experience when you step into this industry?
Yeah, it's a male-dominated industry, and I think gender biases are everywhere, even in our industry. With me, I think I've been judged, and I've had my own challenges. Be a part of the industry. So acceptance as a woman was difficult for me in the male industry. Making them understand that I'm here for a purpose and just not for glamour or get few clicks and post it on social media. So I took my time and made people realize that I'm in serious business. Apart from that, I think I'm very loud with my with my words. When I say loud, I set my boundaries in the beginning. So it's not that I didn't have any incidents wherein, I did not have these kind of challenges. I did not ignore when I initially entered. So I've been a part of the Coffee Board of India. So where I also worked with the government and the private sector. Since I travel a lot, I visit estates. I've had these challenges, but how I address to it has defined my journey. So I've set my boundaries, and it was a clear message every time any incident, took place. So I'll narrate one incident. I think we were in an expo, and this was my first expo, and I visited with the person in charge, and we saw that there weren't many footfalls. Stall laga hua hai, but coffee hai, and you don't have too many people. So after an hour or two, I see too many people coming, and I'm interacting this, that. So I call the person in charge, and I say, sir, what, we have so much crowd, and a lot of people there's a lot of footfall on our stall, and people are interacting. And the person tells me that, oh, it's because you're there. So at that moment, I didn't know how to react because you were very senior to me and I was a newcomer. But then I didn't want to ignore it. I was offended. I was offended, and I called after 2 days and I said, I did not like this statement of yours. So it's a very clear message that next time when you invite me to the events, please ensure that it is for my knowledge, for my time, and not for glamour or pictures. So I think that was the first and last incident that happened. Even in the private sector, I've been very clear with things.
Facing all those challenges, discrimination and all those things, was there any moment when you felt to quit? And at that time, what kept you going?
I think not moments, but every now and then I felt like quitting. See, the kind of enthusiasm I had when I entered the industry slowly faded away. I did not walk in with a strategy or a business plan. It was pure out of passion and dedication, but businesses don't run that way. So there were things that worked, there were things that didn't work, and you feel helpless at times. I felt like giving up, but whenever I felt like giving up, I reminded myself of the people who are counting on me. I reminded myself of the sacrifices that I made to be where I am today. There's a lot of opportunity cost involved. If not Curly Brew, probably I would have been doing my corporate job and would have been drawing a good salary, or maybe traveling, doing things that I wanted to do. But today, it's all about coffee and strategies and Curly Brew, people, networking. So there is an opportunity cost. Also, sometimes you're confused with the purpose and calling in your life. You feel you tried, you failed. It's okay to fail. That's how we convince ourselves or console ourselves. But whenever I thought ki bas, I'm done, khatam, abhi Curly Brew band karte hain, I need to think something else. The next day something great would happen. Either I would be invited for a talk or an award like this, or being a part of the Coffee Board of India, or maybe giving a public talk about coffee. So, and then you realize that you are meant for this.
I don't know whether it's related or not, it's the right thing to ask or not, but the spirit of not giving up, there are so many reasons. But do you think that being from a Marwari family is one of the reason to face all those hustle and still stood up?
That's a very personal question that I'll answer. I think coming from a Marwari family was the greatest challenge in my life. We have defined gender roles. So, yes, I had a different way of living life. I knew what I wanted. I knew I wanted to do something in life, whether it is family support or whether somebody is backing you up or not, whether you're following the Marwari traditions or not. Nothing mattered to me. I knew that I have the potential to do something apart from making the gol chapatis, which most of the women in our families do. So no offense to the community or any families. I have faced these kind of challenges wherein parents not being okay traveling. Like you are traveling every now and then. You should lead a stable life. Or how about quitting coffee and learning some cooking? So Marwari community, slightly orthodox. I don't know how the family is going to react after this. But then, yeah, they are very conventional. I wanted to break all of them because not that I wanted to prove them wrong or I wanted to be a role model in the family, nothing. I wanted to do justice with myself. I had a voice within me and I wanted to hear that. I wanted to scream loud and say, dude, you just can't take away the rights from me. So whether it's taking up a job or doing your own business or maybe running an NGO, to teaching kids. It's an individual choice. Just like right to education, right to working is also a choice. Nobody gave me that choice. I took it. Also, I had business opportunities in my own family, but then no, I didn't want to take it up. I wanted to keep my family and my work, separate. Didn't want to mess up. Apart from that, I think today you previously asked me about the award. So that award is just not a piece of glass. It's an answer to all these hassles. It's an answer to my family whenever they said, "What are you doing? It's been so many years. What next? How many more years do you need to prove yourself? You should better quit, relax at home, and take care of the family business." So it was an answer that I struggled, but I didn't quit. So, and apart from that, I also feel that this journey is inspiring to many women who are looking forward in life, who are almost at the verge of achieving something, but then the self-doubt, self-criticism, your societal norms, your family expectation pulls you down. I crossed. I have reached all those.
You have already answered like half of my next questions because my next question was like traveling is like very important part of your life, and still we have seen so many women in country. I'm saying women because yeah, it's we all know it's very true that for women it's much tougher compared to males or men's. So what idea do you think that everyone has to think before taking that decision, and what all preparation they should do if they are planning to take their own decision of their life, either it be for a solo traveling, maybe for to start something new in a business? What could be their like first few things they should do that?
If you ask me to choose between coffee and travel, I think I'll choose travel because oh man, I just can't express in words how much passionate I'm towards traveling. So if I don't travel for a month or two, I start dreaming about flights and trains and aeroplanes. And if you see this earring, so you can see an aeroplane here too.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So I'm passionate towards traveling. Apart from that, I feel traveling teaches you a lot. It connects you with yourself. I chose solo traveling because I didn't want to be too dependent on anybody. I didn't want to wait for people to be available on the dates that I want to travel. So it's almost like I've been traveling from last 15 years, but I've been solo traveling from last 6 years. And yes, like any other girl or person, I was too nervous when I started my journey as a solo traveler. Too many ifs and buts. But then I took it up. I'm like, do or die. So I didn't want to regret later in my life. And I started with Manali, started with Himachal Pradesh. And the first thing I would want to tell people before you get into solo traveling is just be prepared. Be prepared for the good and the bad. Be prepared to meet all kind of people. You need to follow your instinct, whether to choose your place, like you want to stay in a hostel or you want to be in a hotel. Safe choices, I would say no. Take risk, plunge into it. Start solo traveling by staying in hostels, backpack hostels. That's how I started. So there are big brands, there are big hostel brands wherein you can rely upon them. They are safe, clean, and hygienic. Just if you don't know anything, just get into one of the hostels. You meet people there. Design your own itinerary. Don't Google it every time. Try local cuisines. Meet with locals. And if things aren't going your way, that's okay. Pause for a day. Don't think about return journey. Maybe that place that time didn't work for you, but that doesn't mean that you can never solo travel. Also believe in your gut feelings. Believe in the universal energy that you will definitely meet good people. I have lost my way. I have missed my flight. I have had numerous incidents wherein I don't know what to do next. I'm just sitting at the airport. I think I was in Kashmir and my flight got cancelled. It was 5:30 in December. So the airport closes by 5:30 or 6 and you can't stay there. I'm already on the way to Bangalore. So I've checked out from the hotel and I'm not allowed to be at the airport too. The next flight is the next day. I am tensed. I'm worried. I don't know what to do there. But people help me out. You need to ask help from people. Never ever hesitate to ask help from people. Somewhere somebody would help from you. So yeah. And your second question was about choosing
Like what all
decisions
preparation they should do
for the solo traveling or
for solo traveling and for business both?
for solo traveling. I told you these many things. Preparation as in you can check with people who have already gone or visited these places. Start with simple places. Don't have a Bollywood or a fancy version of travel. things doesn't work out this way, also have a budget in your mind, because traveling is just not about exploring places, clicking pictures, कि मेरा left अच्छा लग रहा है, मेरा right, dimple अच्छा लग रहा है. No, it's not about that. When you're traveling, you need to become a better version of yourself. You need to take decisions. You need to figure out that should I leave at 6 a.m. in the morning, or should I be at the airport in the midnight. It is about connecting with people. Can you trust X or should you trust Y? Are you vibing well with the people? Are you an introvert? So I've realized that many people are introvert. They're not very comfortable mingling people. You need to come out of your shelter, your comfort zone, take risk, and jot down things that you want to do, the experiences that you want to have. Just be flexible. That's how, once you get that confidence from your first solo traveling, then there's no looking back. I think 6 years I visited countries solo. I visited multiple states, cities, districts, villages solo.
And we are sure like there are long way to go. And you'll be exploring more about coffee in coming years.
Yeah.
So far, what all varieties of coffee you have explored? If you just give us a walkthrough towards the different varieties of coffee.
Once you get into coffee tasting or coffee cupping, your palate changes. You no longer enjoy coffee sipping as you used to do earlier. Unconsciously, you start understanding the notes of the coffee. So, coming to the coffee, trying out different coffees, I think all of us start with instant coffee like Nescafe, Brew. So that's how I started. But switching to filter coffee, and then I would have tried different brewing equipment, mocha pot, French press. I have tried Ethiopian, Colombian, and geisha from Panama, civet coffee, different coffee cocktails and mocktails. So a lot of coffee. I think it's difficult to name anything in particular, but almost all the varieties. We have two varieties, Arabica and Robusta majorly. So the blends, pure black coffee, Americano, or the espresso shots, cold brews, coffee tonics. The list is endless.
Is there anything that is not okay to blend with coffee? We know we have blended coffee with many things, like whether it's liquor, cold, hot, and so many ways. Is there anything that we should never mix with coffee?
I think you should be careful with milk coffee. With black coffees, cocktails and mocktails goes well, but when you are adding milk to it, you cannot add milk and lemon. You can't do that. But we have lemon coffee, black coffee. You can always add lemon to it. Anything citric, I don't recommend with milk. So you also need to understand the combination, the food combo part when you are talking about coffee. Many cafes, we do have, guava coffee, but you need to understand, does milk gels well with guava? Will it have any side effects? So yes. Otherwise, you can try anything with coffee.
Give the brief detail about the civet coffee, because that is something very fascinating for me when I heard first time. I want from your mouth, like what is civet coffee? If people who are not aware about the civet coffee, just explain the process and how it formed.
Civet coffee is basically a cat poop coffee. Kapi Luwak is what it's called. Basically originated from Indonesia. We do have in India as well. We have civet coffee in India too. So basically these wild cats, they have different kind of acid in their digestive system. So when they chew the beans, the acid reacts with the beans and a different taste is formed, and these beans comes out in the form of poop, which is then processed and cleaned, and that's how it's grounded and you get the civet coffee. Many people are not okay with the very idea of poop, but yes, it's clean. The taste is slightly different from the normal coffee. You also have Arabica, Robusta. You don't see these wild cats everywhere. They are only in specific estates. Let me tell you the pricing as well. So between 9,000 to 10,000 per kg you get in India, and somewhere around 38,000 to 39,000 in Indonesia. So that pricey civet coffees. Adding to this, I will also add about another coffee, squirrel coffee. There's squirrel coffee, there's monkey coffee, there's ivory coffee. So if I have to choose one, I would choose squirrel coffee. So these squirrel choose the bean and they spit it out. So it's not a poof form, they spit it out. The farmers collect these beans and process it, and you get the ground coffee. The coffee is really sweet. It has a very pleasant taste, and it is said that the squirrels choose only the best. So you can be assured about the coffee quality there. I did not like the monkey coffee much. Ivory coffee, I have a balanced opinion about it. But civet coffee and squirrel coffee, I can vouch.
This civet and squirrel coffee, can we consider it's a vegetarian thing?
I don't know it's vegetarian or not, but I personally feel it's vegetarian because it's just a poop. And also in squirrel, you are not eating the squirrel. The beans are chewed by the squirrel and are spit by them. So I think it's all vegetarian. And the poop coffee is a personal choice. How comfortable you are with the very idea of poop coffee.
This is one thing. And what are the like common myths about coffee when it comes to like general public?
The major myth I would say is that international coffees are premium coffees. This is a notion that we all have. I think India has some of the finest coffees. Filter coffee has been ranked second in the world. So not necessarily that the coffees that you get from Ethiopia, Colombia, or Brazil are the best ones. We also have equally good coffees. You must believe in the Indian coffee and the process and try. We have micro lots, we have specialty coffees, different elevation coffees. You can try that. So that is one myth. Second myth is, coffee is just a caffeine fix. No, it's not a quick caffeine fix. A lot. I think coffee is an emotion. When we go to a cafe, we don't talk about coffee. We talk about maybe how the day went, or when we're catching up with friends, we have gossips, or in a board meeting we talk about data and statistics. So coffee is just not a beverage. It is connected to everything that we do in our life. It could be a coffee dates, it could be a first coffee date, coffee and books, coffee and travel, a visit to coffee estate, talking to a stranger, connecting over a cup of coffee, meetups. So coffee is just not a quick fix.
The passion of you towards coffee, na? You are doing so many different talks and different research in India. When doing research for you, I've seen so many articles written for Curly Brew or for Puja Jain in Nepal. So when I see your profile in Nepal, it look like superstar in like coffee superstar in Nepal. So what's that connection? Like how Curly Brew is brewing the connection between Nepal and India. So what's the coffee connection between Nepal and India?
I think coffee, Curly Brew, and Nepal are interconnected. Today, I feel Curly Brew wouldn't have been Curly Brew if it wasn't for Nepal. So, Nepal has a good coffee culture. The production is less, but the consumption is really good. I felt that, the voices were unheard, the stories were not covered, the kind of attention that it deserved wasn't brought to limelight, especially the coffee industry. So I started exploring and researching about the coffee culture in Nepal, coffee production, the consumption pattern, the cafes, the farmers, the technical difficulties, and realized that I need to write about the Nepal coffee culture. And that's how I got associated with Nepal Coffee Federation, Tea and Nepal Coffee Board. It's almost 3.5 years wherein we are writing about the problems that the industry is facing and how you can trust Nepal coffee, the organic coffee, the farmers who are trying hard to cultivate coffee in Nepal. Imagine, the consumption is around 10,000 metric tons and their production is just 300 metric tons. So look at the gap. So here comes the role of India. India supplies coffee to Nepal. That's one thing. Coming to Curly Brew, we are the digital partners of many brands in Nepal coffee industry. We have been writing articles about them. We have been covering stories. I personally visited the farms. Rather, I also did my barista training in Kathmandu to understand, how the academies work there. They have some amazing coffee academies because most of the baristas are trained and sent abroad, Dubai, Canada, Australia for jobs. So they have good academies and we have been writing about them. I've also been a panelist in 2023 wherein I spoke the importance of digital marketing in the world of coffee, how women should take the leadership roles, and how Nepal can take a part in the global stage. That's how we are contributing to the industry and bringing it to the limelight that it deserves.
When I was doing research about seeing all those articles and all, I came across with one controversial video. I want to understand what was that and how did you handle that situation?
So yes, one controversy did happen. I think it was 2023, and I was a panelist in one of the event of the Nepal Coffee Festival. So I was representing Curly Brew and not any country or any organization. And it was a very diplomatic or a tricky question, I would say. I was asked that India is not supplying good coffee to Nepal, and there are a lot of illegal border trading happening. How do you take it, and how can we solve it? So that's not the right question at that platform wherein you are, the media is involved, two countries are involved. I'm not representing Coffee Board of India. I'm not representing India. I'm from Curly Brew. You got to ask me questions related to entrepreneurship, my journey, digital marketing, women entrepreneurship. I'm fine, but asking a question or defaming a nation on such platform is not the right thing. How did I handle it? I answered them that it is not the problem of countries. Neither you can blame Nepal or India. It is an individual choice. If somebody is selling, somebody is buying, and quality comes with a price. India is the fifth largest exporter. So do I need to talk about quality? Absolutely not. And if you say that you haven't been receiving good quality, probably you should check with your entrepreneurs. With quality comes a price. If you're willing to pay the price, you will get the good quality. Having said that, I also feel it's an individual responsibility of every entrepreneur to supply good coffees to their consumers. So you need to talk to your people. You need to convince them that illegal trading is not the right way. Pay the duties, pay the import duties, and get the coffees. Border security, you have to talk to your government. What can India do in that, or what can I do in that? Nothing. So, yes, it was a good response from the audience, and they did apologize later. But yeah, the topic went viral, and I was questioned several times. Luckily, my answers didn't defame any country, any organization, any brand. I was neutral, and I think what I spoke did make a lot of sense to many people there.
When you your words have taken Indian coffee to the world, I want to understand what's the process when you start writing, when you prepare to write about something, and what were the thoughts were running in your mind, and what's the complete process of writing?
So as a writer, I always try looking for my muse. What could be my next subject? I think as a consumer, I want to know about XYZ process. Do I have clarity? No. So probably I'll write about it. Let's say today's podcast. We can talk about coffee, how you consumed tea and I took my coffee. I think last week I went to a potluck wherein it was a Sattvic potluck, and beverage was not allowed. Coffee was not allowed because it's a stimulant. So my next blog was about herbal coffee. I have visited a lot of estates. I went to Araku Valley to understand the tribal farmers' role in coffee production. I wrote about them. I visited academies, a lot of academies, cafe academies, wherein what are the challenges that the students are facing. It could be in terms of job, it could be in terms of participating in the events. Like there are a lot of national events happening, barista competition, latte art championship. So what is that thing that's pulling the baristas or participants to win from the global level? How can we do it better? Or home brewing. There are a lot of home brewing equipment in India, and a lot of home brewers are there. Of late, the culture is all about coffee and home brewing culture. Talking about the coffee grades, coffee events, a lot of expos happen. What is the next event that I can talk about? So my story doesn't revolve around only India. It talks about the global coffee culture. There is something called coffee reading in Turkey, wherein the coffee grounds, the leftover grounds predicts your future. There is Ethiopian coffee culture. We have South Indian filter coffee culture. You have those dabaras. That's a part of the coffee culture. There are a lot of books on coffee. In the earlier days, the laborers were not allowed to drink coffee in cups. They were asked to drink in coconut shell. So it talks about the caste system and about the estates. The specialty coffee is the buzzword today. How to run a cafe, how we have buy two coffee in the darshanis and all, but we don't have in a cafe. You can't ask a buy two cappuccino. So why no buy two cappuccinos? The real life problems we talk, the challenges of the farmers and the estates and the government policies, the subsidies, some personal stories. Everybody has gone through a journey to reach where they are today. Cancer survivor in the coffee industry, we have written stories about them. Yeah, so that's my real idea of coffee journalism. I am not here to evaluate my work on the basis of likes, shares, and the traction or the traffic. I'm here to make a difference in people's life and have a feeling that am I inspiring people? Am I making any difference? Am I covering the stories that have not been heard? Am I being the voice of the unheard? So our tagline is Curly Brew, the voice of coffee. So far, we have been doing justice with it.
We can say that in this today's digital space, we have seen so many real influencers who self-claimed experts. So in that crowd of all those things, we have you as a real influencer, like who are first doing study, research, then educating others.
Absolutely, I would love to have this title because people connect influencers with reels and social media or brand collaboration. With me, it's not like that. I am the real influencer because I talk about coffee. I spread a word about coffee. I educate about coffee. I have taken coffee career guidance sessions. So my all events, my all talks, my all write-ups, it's everything about coffee. So yes, I think I justify the title.
As like Curly Brew has carved a unique space as India's first exclusive branding agencies for coffee. In your opinion, how has digital media transformed the way coffee brands connect with consumers, and what roles does storytelling play in building a strong emotional connection with coffee lovers?
Considering today's branding industry, the role of AI, I think marketing branding plays a major role in promoting coffees of India. How do you know XYZ coffee exists in the market? You cannot be going individually and saying, hey dude, I'm there in the market. So digital platforms are a great way to promote the coffees and the stories behind it. Every caption, every brand name, every packaging has a story. How do you convey it to your consumers? How do you convince them through your story? And these stories must be on a medium wherein they are being heard, is reaching, it should reach to the right audience. So through Curly Brew, we are India's first digital platform exclusively for coffee to spread a word about the Indian coffee and the coffee culture. Apart from that, I feel every good thing deserves to be praised and appreciated. It has to reach to the right people. There are a lot of coffee lovers in India. But do you get to try all the coffees? Do you get to know which brand is doing well? Do you understand the nuances of coffee? Do you know which is Arabica, which is Robusta, or the chicory coffee? People are looking for zero caffeine coffee. Do you know which brand is offering you zero caffeine? I think all these awareness and education happens through digital media apart from the offline events. Today, I think almost 90% of us are on digital platforms. We are active on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Most of us are binge watching. So the content has to be there. And Curly Brew is proving that connection between the suppliers and the consumers. You love coffee, we have a solution. You have a palate, we have a solution. You want to know what's the upcoming event, let's say Geneva or where is World Coffee Championship happening, we have a solution, we have information. You want to know what is exclusive about Ethiopian coffee or Brazil coffee, or what is a production in Nepal, anything and everything. We are doing it through our exclusive platform. We have a PR site, www.curlybrew.com. We have our Instagram handle wherein we post anything and everything about coffee, and we connect people. It's just not being the voice. It is also an emotional connection between coffee lovers and the brands who are willing to offer them good coffees, and the farmers who are exclusively working for that cup of coffee. Many a times we just see it as a cup of coffee, but we don't know what would have gone behind that one cup of coffee. So that's Curly Brew all about, sharing stories behind that cup of coffee.
Can we say that if someone is planning to start a new brand out of coffee or maybe a cafe chain or something, they should connect with Curly Brew? They'll take care of everything.
Yes, we are also coffee consultant. So we have partnered with a few academies or entrepreneurs who can help us build the cafe, help you set up a new blend. In cafes, you see there are different blends and different recipes. So yes, we are coffee consultant who can help you from crop to a cafe. We are there to help you out.
So now, like, what's next on your map? Like a place, a person, or a theme you are dying to explore for your next story?
I think a lot is there on my plate. I would want to explore more countries. Before countries, I think I would want to write about Darjeeling coffee culture, Kerala coffee culture. We have also coffee in MP, the Northeast coffee culture. And after that, probably I would want to talk about Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, Singapore, and then maybe Brazil, Ethiopia. So a lot is there in my plate. I would want to meet a lot of people over coffee, build connections, and maybe have a cup of coffee with Tejasvi Surya. So if you are listening to me, please let me know when can I have a cup of South Indian filter coffee with you.
Definitely, we'll take this appeal to the Tejasvi Surya
Yeah.
very soon. And when it comes, you said Vietnam. So next month I'm visiting Vietnam, and I'm super excited to try the salted coffee there. If you want to give me some, like maybe some suggestions for other coffees in Vietnam.
Oh, Vietnam has a very unique coffee culture. They have egg coffee, they have yogurt coffee, they have condensed milk coffee. So I will refer you a few cafes also offline. Probably you can visit them. They are more into Robusta growing, so their coffees are also unique. You will have a good time there.
We have so many things to speak about coffee, but yes, because considering time, for one thing I want you to explain, because so many people are not aware about the difference between, or the types of two types of coffee generally we get in India, Arabica and Robusta. So what's the difference between Arabica and Robusta?
Arabica and Robusta. Robusta is majorly used for a blend. We don't recommend having Robusta as a sole
Okay.
coffee. It is used for blending. The taste is slightly on the bitter side, wherein Arabica has a sweeter taste compared to Robusta. Arabica can be consumed solely. You can have your black cup of coffee, but Robusta we don't recommend. Also, the climatic conditions and the way you take care of Arabica and Robusta plants are very different. Those are the technical parts, but otherwise Arabica and Robusta are majorly a good blend.
With that commitment that yes, we'll be coming again with so many important discussions related to coffee with Puja and with other people, whatever Puja is going to connect with us. One thing I want to ask you to complete this small sentence for before we wrap up for the day. Coffee to me is.
Coffee to me is a mirror. It's a reflection of who I am, what am I bringing to the industry, my personality, my everyday routine, what am I doing. So it's a reflection of my journey, my struggles, lesson to the people, or a message to the people that nothing is impossible if you're passionate about anything in life. It could be as small as coffee. So never stop dreaming and always follow your passion.
That's super amazing. Thanks, Pooja, for your time and taking us to the journey of coffee world. Before we wrap, like we have a small token of appreciation for you, so we want to present you
Oh,
that
great.
first. Thanks for watching Asli Kahani. We'll be coming with more amazing stories in coming days. Till then, be alert, be aware, be smart, and most importantly, be Asli.